Street cred sports. Street cred sports. I'm crossing over. I'm Euro stepping.
Hello, this is Keenan of Street Cred Sports Training, and welcome to another episode of Time to Ball. We are on episode 80. I don't have any fancy catchphrases or anything for 80. It's what it is. It's number 80. It's after 79, right? Before 81. Hope all y'all are doing well. I get this thing with my ear, and for the record, I do clean my ears and everything, but I think there's something inherent because I've been getting this as a kid where no matter what I do, I get this wax buildup in my left ear after some time, and then I can't hear out of my left ear. So if I sound weird, it's because of my ear is like clogged up, and I'm probably compensating in some way with my voice in my other ear. Then I gotta go get it flushed and stuff. So it's weird. I don't want to have to go to urgent care or stuff like that. I'll try to get it fixed here because I know it's just a matter of squeezing and putting the solution stuff in and stuff. But I do everything they tell me. But doctor said I'm just kind of, some people, they get it. Some people get it more and some people don't. I remember when I was a little kid, I think the first time that I ever had it happen, it was the first time that it happened to me, and my dad had to take me, and they told him, okay, well, this is what it is. So they put the little bowl next to my ear, and they put the little squeegee thing there, and then I can hear it like that, the noise of the water going in, and then all of a sudden it was like, and I was like, oh, I can hear my ear sound like it was like I was like Superman hearing, like do-do-do-do-do. I could hear people in the other room. And then my dad walks over, the doc's like, okay, it's good to go. And the dad walks over, it's like, what the hell is that? And it was like it's wax buildup. And he's like, boy, you need to clean your fucking ears. He's just, my old man had no filter, man. And he just said it like that. And the doctor said, no. He said, look, a lot of people have this. He said some get it a little bit more than others. He said, and it's not that he's not, cleaning his ears or something. Some people just get it. And some people are going to be getting it on a regular basis. So I was all embarrassed, like, damn, Pops, you could have waited till we got out of here. You made me sound like some unclean person like that. And then after he told him, he was like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, boy, you keep your ears clean, boy. It was so funny. And I got to tell you, when I was growing up, I don't know why, but my pops usually was the one who picked me up from school for stuff, right? Maybe doctor's appointments, especially once I started playing sports. If I twisted an ankle or I had to go do this, he was usually the one who picked me up. And it was always fun. So I'm sure y'all can relate when y'all were younger. Whenever your parents came to pick you up, you knew, hey, we're going to get something to eat. I'm going home early. You rarely got picked up, went to do whatever you needed to do, and then dropped back off at school. That rarely happened when I was coming up. So, yeah, those were fun memories. But I always think about that. Boy, clean your goddamn ears, boy. And it's funny. If any of y'all know my old man, you laughing because you're tickled about, you remember him and how he talked and how he was. So this portion is sponsored by 915 Carpet Cleaning. They take care of all of your needs, whether it's residential or commercial, whether it's flooring or carpet. 915 Carpet Cleaning, they get the job done. Look up 915 Carpet Cleaning, the carpet cleaner you know before you need one. So, like I said, I hope everybody's doing well. We are chugging along, and it's getting colder. I'm not liking this cold. I like it warm. I'd rather be 160 degrees outside than 60 degrees. That's just me. That is just me. But fall is here. It's almost, well, it's not winter, but it's getting close to that, and temperatures are cooling down. So we will get started with weekly events in sports or life, stuff that interests me. So the first thing I want to talk about is this unicycle basketball. Well, what is unicycle basketball? Well, it's exactly what I said. There's no like you think I'm saying one thing and it's another. No, it's I want to say 10 guys. It could be less than 10. They're all on unicycles and they're playing basketball. So there's, fast break, there's going down, and one guy comes behind and he tries to, steal the ball or block the shot, and he moves, and then he's able to shoot the basket. So it was interesting because I'm thinking, okay, so I'm assuming they're not calling traveling, right? Like how do you determine what a step is when you're on a unicycle? So I thought that was unique. I mean, it was cool. It was cool, but like I was, I need to try to find the rules to see how the game is called. Like okay, so if a guy shoots, I'm sorry, if the player shoots a 3-pointer, right, and they're gonna review it, is the wheel on the line, or is if the wheel is on the line, does that count as a three, or is that like same thing as your toe? Is on the line. You know what I'm saying? So, how do you set pick and rolls? I didn't get a chance to see that, but I overall, I mean, I know I'm kind of overanalyzing and asking questions and stuff, but overall, I think it's really really cool. I really think it's cool. So, we if you get a chance, check it out. See if you can, see the video of it. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get a little bit more information on it because I do think it's cool. I'm trying to like next thing you know, you'll be playing big wheel basketball. So everybody be on their big wheels, on their big wheels driving around dribbling. I don't even know if I had a big wheel. I might have. I think everybody growing up back in the day, at some point either had a big wheel or somebody they knew had a big wheel and they drove it. So big wheel basketball is coming in 2025. So get ready for it. Okay. On a more serious note, there was a coach who got fired for cussing out students in a game. So he was coaching his team, and he was filmed. He was filmed in like I think it was halftime. I don't know if it was halftime of the game, but he was filmed secretly by a player, and he was cursing. I saw the video, and he was the language he used was was bad. I mean, but who haven't used that type of language, but it was his wordplay when he was talking about some of the stuff he that he used. I'm trying to pull it up because I want to make sure that I do a really good job of explaining it. So he's talking during halftime, and really really explicit stuff, really bad, and he gets filmed. And it's like the player who filmed him, for let me pull it up. Fire for halftime speech. The player who filmed him is like maybe he was doing this on a regular basis, and maybe they decided they were going to film him. So it was the coach's name of the school was Lynn Camp High School. The coach name was Tyler Wagner. So he stepped down, and it was actually an old video of him cursing. I think it was from last year. He was cursing at his players during halftime. So it's weird because it was during the 2023 season, and he's stepping down now because a video comes out now. The video, like I said, the language that was used, I know he said something about we're getting, I'm trying to find it actually, but it was like we're getting fucked. They're fucking us in the ass or something like that. What he was trying to say is that they were really getting after them, right? And that wordplay will get you in trouble. I mean, even back growing up, I'd probably have to turn and look at a coach if he said, if he was to say it in that manner, it would be a little like, wow, why would you say that? Like if you said, man, they kicking our fucking ass, they're all up in our shit. They're kicking our ass at every step of the way. Yeah, okay, you know that, but it was the wordplay that he used because I heard the video, and that was what stood out to me, the first part of the video, and I'm like, why would he say, okay, all right, and then you listen to the rest, and the rest is it's a lot of cursing and stuff, but a lot of coaches curse, a lot of coaches are emotional, they use that language and stuff, and I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying I would. I don't. If I curse or if I raise my voice, you usually know that okay, he's not happy because I'm really soft spoken and mild mannered. Although some people say I'm not, but for the most part I am. So like if I raise my voice, because I always tell people, if you're yelling at a kid all the time about something, and then you really want to get your point across, you're gonna yell, and that kid isn't gonna hear it the same because they're so used to you yelling, right? So but if you're more soft spoken, and then all of a sudden you start yelling, then it gets people attention because it's not something you're used to doing. So to each his own. I don't want to say you got to be careful, because if you say you got to be careful, it kind of alludes to, well, when you say that, it makes you think, well, hey, don't do this wrong here because you're gonna get caught. You can do wrong, just don't do it this way because you get caught. I'm just saying, I'll say you have to be better at communicating what you need to communicate with. And yeah, if you're gonna use foul language, that's fine. But his wordplay was weird. It was weird, and he apologized for it. And he stepped down and resigned because of it. I just kind of think, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Why not release it the day after it happened? Why hold on to it for a year and then release it? You know what I'm saying? Because more than likely, if that comes out, he's going to resign. They're going to ask for his resignation immediately because of what he said and how he said it. So you hold on to it for a year and then you release it. Now, one thought comes to mind, and I know this isn't, like, oh, see, this is what happened, but thought that would come to mind is, was that player mad at him at some point and decided to release it? Right? Did he get in that player's face or get on that player about something, and that player, whether he got on him justly or unjustly, so it could have been either way. It could have been maybe, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, I'm going to ask it in a question. Did that player who released it, what was it, playing time cut? What was it? Because I'm just curious as to why they would wait a year to put it out there. Because that's bad. That's bad. That should have, to me, that should have been put out like within, the next few days. Like, hey, look, this is what he was saying, and I'm not taking this, and, and this and that. And look, I ain't going to play ball no more. right? Because I wasn't feeling what he said and how he said it. So I don't know. And a lot of times I have discussions with my wife about certain things, and she'll make me see like, okay, I can get that. I'm just curious why you wait a year to put that out. That should have been out because you think if that went on at that game, think of all the other abusive language that was used by that coach throughout that year that everybody had to endure, right? So I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more. Um, as time goes by. I don't know if we will, but because it's probably gonna, it hit the news cycle, and then at some point it kind of goes away. You might see this coach, later on in life, and hopefully that coach learned from it. Um, there's certain things you don't say. So I'll see if I can find the exact quote because I listened to it, you know, just to see like, well, how bad was it? And then I was like, who's recording it? And it's like that's got to be a player. So it's like you at halftime and the player got his phone out. Player has her phone out in the locker room and watching that. So it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, it was a gotcha moment that got him. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try to follow up and actually go through the video again and try to find exactly, the wordplay so I can read it just so y'all know kind of like, okay, yeah, that was kind of bad. All right. So now on a better note, I want to say shout out to Kayla Thornton. Well, who is Kayla Thornton, Kay? Kay, I'm sorry. It's because whenever I go to a place and I make an order and they say, hey, what's the name under it? And I always say K, which is first letter of my name, because sometimes I've tried to tell them my name and they have a hard time understanding or pronouncing my name when I pronounce it to them. So I'll say, let's say, can I have an order for the name? I mean, order for the name. They'll say, can I have a name for the order? And then I'll say, put it under K. And then they'll say, okay, K. And I always got to chuckle about that. But no, Kayla Thornton, she's from El Paso. She played at Irvin High School. She was really dominant player in high school, and she gets scholarship to play at UTEP. So she stays hometown, and she goes to UTEP, and she ends up being like one of the all-time scorers and rebounders for the 4 years that she played at UTEP. Well, afterwards, she goes to WNBA. So she gets drafted. She plays with the Dallas Wings for a number of years. I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 years or so. And then she leaves and she goes to New York Liberty, where she's a part of the championship. She was an integral part of the championship in the rotation. So they win the WNBA title this year. So she obviously, look, to me, she should have been celebrated before the winning the championship, because getting to the pros is not something that we have a lot. Well, we don't have here. On the football side, we have a few, but in other bigger cities, you have more players that go to the pros. So having somebody go to pro is a big thing to me, right? And Kayla's more laid back, more reserved, quiet person. Um, I've actually sent her. I used to send her merchandise when she was at the Dallas Wings with my logo and stuff, and it wasn't like, hey, promote my brand. It was like, yo, you know what, uh, she likes the brand. Let's send her some gear. So I'm happy for her. I'm not like personal friend where I see her, she knows me, I know her. I'm gonna assume she knows of me because of the organization and the people that are really close to her that I'm close with and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that she's getting the recognition. And how did she get the recognition? She got a banner up at UTEP, and I don't know if it's the first female to have a banner up at UTEP. I think I saw something that said it did. I kind of find that hard to believe with the players who've played throughout the years, but she deserves one. Whether she's the first, the fifth, or what have you, she deserves a banner because obviously her accomplishments at UTEP alone. But the fact she's El Paso, fact that she goes to the WNBA and she wins a WNBA title, that's something that you can't take from her. So, congratulations to her. I've actually before this, I'm talking years before this, I've actually tried to look at getting like a camp or something with her, for her to do for the girls in the city, uh, because she needs one. She deserves one. So I'm gonna reach out again. And the thing that's hard with the women players is because of their schedule. So most of them, because they don't make the type of money that they need to make, is they play, and then once they finish, they go overseas so they can continue to make money. And then they come, by the time they finish overseas, they come back as a WNBA schedule and stuff. So her schedule's really hard. Plus, they play during the summer, which is usually when you want to have a camp. So I will, try again to see if we can get something down for her to actually do a camp and help her do that, because she definitely deserves one. So shout out to her for her congratulations. Shout out to her for her accomplishments. Congratulate her when you see. Told you this ear thing is weird. Like got me talking jumbled. I'm saying things that I normally wouldn't say. So it's something with this ear. I might need to cancel my basketball trainings today. I don't want to be telling the kid to dunk and they're 8 years old. Like, hey, we're gonna do this dunking this dunking move right now, and they're like, but I'm 8. I don't care about that. You can dunk. All right. Last of this is our first game back for Klay Thompson for Dallas Mavericks. Now, what is this about, Kay? Why are you talking about that? I mean, if you listen to this, you're probably into sports and basketball, so you would know. But, the occasional person that just happens to tune in to see if I know what the hell I'm talking about. Klay Thomas played a number of years, 9, 10, maybe 11 years with the Golden State Warriors. He won 4 championships with Steph Curry. They were known as the Splash Brothers because of their shooting prowess. They could knock down threes. Klay has a number of records, most threes I think in a game, or he might be up there. Him and Steph share a lot of the top 3-point shooting records. Klay once had like 61 points in a game. I think it was over 3 quarters, and he only dribbled the ball 11 times because he was deadly coming off of screens. So he got a lot of his points catch and shoot, and that's what he's known for. Well, at some point, it's always going to be a bad breakup, especially with sports, because in the sporting world and organizations, it's really what can you do for me? And Klay suffered an Achilles tear. Well, first he suffered an ACL tear. I want to say it was 2019 during the finals in Game 6. So he suffers an ACL tear, and during the time that he was rehabbing, when he came back, he suffered an Achilles tear during his rehab. So that set him back. It was almost like 2 years that he had to, be out before he came back. And, with any injury, it's really hard to come back. And there's certain injuries that affect people differently. So you could see that when he came back, he lost a little bit of his explosiveness. Now, I don't really think it was as much due to the injuries as opposed to, the wear and tear of your body as you get older. You're not as young as you used to be, so you can't defend certain types of players. You can defend them, but you have problems because your lateral quickness, your explosiveness, your speed to keep up with those quicker players, it goes away. I can tell you because sometimes I'm trying to guard some of these younger kids and I'm showing them stuff and they just going by me and I kind of chuckle because it's like, yeah, well, I knew how to get in front of them. My body's just like, yeah, now you can go on over there. We gonna stay over here. so so yeah, it was a very unfortunate thing. He was able to come back. He was able to win one more title with them, but then he felt he was a little bit more uh, uh, important to the organization than the organization felt. I think he should have been paid. And I know it's like, well, it's on luxury and stuff, but I think if you have a discussion with them about, look, we'll pay you this, but your role will probably be reduced because some of these younger guys are coming in, and you're still going to be a part. You're still going to get your shots, but you might not be a starter. So he ended up taking talents to Dallas, and there were reports that the last year didn't go well. It was kind of bad in the locker room with him because how his personality is, which is weird because he's always been he's not really arrogant. It's just his demeanor with how he talks. I think people think he's arrogant, but he's a really nice and kind person. But you have to have an ego to play that sport, and I think he was more hurt that some of the other guys got their money, and he was kind of being punished, with all of the stuff he did to get back. So he left. He went to Dallas, and he you knew that this was coming. So last night they played Golden State in Golden State, and it was a very entertaining game. You would have just by watching it, and glancing here and there, you would have thought that Golden State was blowing them out, but it was very competitive. I think Golden State was up, by maybe like 11 or 12, but Dallas would, catch up. And that fourth quarter, it was go time. It was tie game, bucket for bucket. Now Klay finished. Klay usually, I was looking back, he normally gets about between 10 and maybe 13 shots a game, right? So his shooting opportunities have dropped, right? But he doesn't have to work as hard, as what he would do with Golden State because of the offensive sets. He got 17 shots up last night. He scored 22. So he was doing his thing, right? And you figure, well, what was Steph doing? Well, Steph scored 37. And Steph was able to score, timely buckets in the fourth quarter. Klay got a three and kind of did the shimmy that Steph does, and Steph didn't take too kindly to it. And then when Steph knocked down, the threes at the end, he did something that I was a little surprised about. I mean, he was really demonstrative with his celebration. He was using language that, you don't normally see Steph Curry use. You can read the lips. I'm not going to repeat it. But, he was really, really hype and exuberant about, pretty much getting the game. And then the game wasn't over. He ended up, I thought he committed a foul, but they couldn't review it, which is just weird. That's another conversation for another day. But I think he fouled the 3-point shooter and could have tied it up. But in any case, he ends up knocking free throws down, and they missed the last second shot. So, Golden State wins. Now, I posted this on my Facebook. What kind of Look, first of all, they were really kind, the celebration of Klay, because he loves the boat. So he usually wears his captain hat, boating captain hat. So when he comes in the arena, everybody's wearing one, right? So they had passed it out to all of the people at the game and stuff. Everybody's wearing these captain hats. So I thought that was really nice, kind gesture. Klay enjoyed it. I thought he might have been a little emotional, because he's played there. He loves the fan and stuff. I didn't get that feeling from him when I watched him, in doing this. Maybe there was a part that I missed, but I didn't see, that like he was like, not like he's gonna break down crying, but I didn't see any of that emotion, like, damn, like I love y'all, I miss this and stuff like that. Y'all mean a lot. I'm sure it did. I think he was really, really heated with the organization. Really, really heated. There were reports that he, didn't want Steph to uh, intervene with his negotiations, to try to tell him like, man, look, he needs to stay. And I'm sure Steph had already said that. But, as the best player, one of the best players in the world, he's gonna hold that weight, right? If he say, hey, now y'all figure that out. If he leaves, then, that's I'm gonna be thinking about that when my contract comes and I'm ready to move. Because he's Klay. He's been there with them. But I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, how much influence, but that was just a report that came out. But in any case, he didn't sign, right? So I'm saying all that to say, yeah, you talk to both of them. On one side, they it's like, man, we're gonna miss him and stuff, but we going at him, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I love him and stuff. I ain't gonna try to hurt him, but I'm going at his ass if I'm playing him, right? And he's on the same side. Well, at the end of the game, game is over, the Warriors win. So the players are coming out, and players show respect, embrace, good game and stuff. Steph and Kyrie hug. They hug and they talking to each other as they hugging. And they've done that. As much as they go at each other, they've always done that when they play a game, right? Whereas he's walking by Klay, there's an embrace, but it was a kind of a quick embrace, and then they kept moving. And my eye was like, whoa, like I would have thought they would have stood there hugging, for 30, 45, 2, 3 minutes, hugging and just, talking to each other about, whatever it is. It was kind of icy. Now they downplayed. Well, Steph downplayed it in the sense that he was messing with him about him doing the shimmy. Like, yeah, I don't know what he was trying to do. That was terrible, and they were laughing. Right? He was laughing when they asked Klay about everything. Klay was like, yeah, he goes on this. You don't want him to go on his what was the word he used? Like where he gets on his heaters, where he's just he's a string of shots. He's just getting them. But it wasn't like, and this is just me. I'm not trying to make something up. I didn't feel like it was like appreciative and genuine. Like, man, that's Steph. That's what that's what we used to do, and he did it to me. I can't stand that guy with a kind of a smile, like he's saying it, but that there's love and endearment. I didn't get that from him in this post game interview. And he was kind of somber and pissed. And obviously you want to win the game. It just felt different. It made me wonder, like, was there issues between them? Now I'm almost sure today as it's, news cycles going on, I'm sure there's going to be a few articles and a few people asking like, damn, was there a little bit something between them? Because you would have thought, it would have been different. Now, when they played, they were at a summer league game or at a WNBA game, and they ran into each other, and they tried to act like they didn't like each other, and then they started laughing and playing, right? That's kind of what I thought I was going to see, but I didn't see it. It was kind of like, all right, good game. Yeah, all right. And then they gone, and I'm like, oh, man, y'all been together too long. It should, deserve more than that. So I'll wait and see. I mean, they're going to play each other, I think, 2 or 3 more times. So the first one is you got that over with. But I want to monitor because maybe it's something I'm missing. Maybe I'm making too much out of it. I just thought it was a little odd. Okay, so now I'm going to get into basketball ideology. So my question is, when should you run the offense and when should you deviate? All right, so what do you mean by that? What I'm talking about, and I'm talking mainly on the lower levels, high school, maybe middle school, city leagues, and stuff like that. Because, in college and the pros, you run sets. You run, the plays that you're supposed to run. But for majority, I would say maybe 95% or more of teams, the set is just to get you into the spaces that you want to get your best players in and put people in positions. But if you see something, a mismatch, or see something that you can attack, you have the green light to attack it. Now, obviously, you don't want players just like jacking up and just trying to get theirs, but you want to be seen that, okay, hey, look, if we attack it this way, now they're gonna have to honor that, which allows us to do this part of the offense, which is what we wanted to do in the first place. College, you see it a lot. Now you do see a lot more plays, but I haven't seen players who took advantage of something that they saw, whether they made the shot or missed the shot, but it was a good shot, and that's the key word. They got a good shot. They've been taken out of the game and sat down. Now, for the high school level, I see that all the time. I see and hear that all the time. Players get taken out because they're running offense. Coaches want them to run the offense, run the offense, run the offense. And yes, you want players to run the offense, but you create robots. Now you got players that don't understand, hey, when I get this ball this way, we've cycled the offense, or we reset the offense 4 times, and then the past 3 times, every time the ball comes this way and I swing it or whatever, my defender really starts to move before I pass the ball. He's anticipating. So this time, if I catch it, I should go as if I'm passing, fake, sweep, and attack. So that's a time when you should deviate, because the offense is giving you an opportunity. This is my opinion, and this is not. I don't want to say this is fact, but this is the opinion because I've had this conversation with college coaches. You know, on the men's and women's side, I've had it with them. Like, do you run plays, and are you the type that if a player is not running the play exactly to the T, you take them out? And they say, well, it depends. If we know we're wanting to get this look because this is the look we want, yeah, I want them to do that. But for the most part, you know, we run sets. Players have freedom. If they see something that they can attack, that's a vulnerability of that defense, yeah, we want you to attack it. We want you playing aggressive. We want you using IQ and stuff. Yeah, well, you know, they don't do that as much in the lower levels. So my question is players are always like, well, what do I do? Because this and that. So I think I've discussed this before. You have to kind of, it's a give and take. You know, you kind of have to, you give the coaches what they want. You run the plays the way you need to run them. But you need to be able to run, to deviate and to attack the offense. But if you attack it, what I teach my players is, look, if we're going to attack it, this is when you want to attack it, right here at this point of the offense when you're running and passing. And once you do this, these are going to be your options. And once you get there, then, you know, you got to be okay with living with the result. If you turn the ball over, if you miss the shot, you know, you could possibly get taken out. So you got to see it, and you got to do it confidently. Now, I've actually had a player who did exactly what we said, what we discussed. Ran the play 2 or 3 times, get him opportunity to look to see how to attack it. He got the ball, made his move. It was just a quick. He caught it, quick sweep, 2 dribble, jump, not pull up, jump shot, but it was a jump stop floater. That was a shot I told him he was gonna get. He makes the shot. He says coach took him out because coach didn't want him to do it. And I said, yeah, but if you understand what I'm saying, that's the shot you're going to get. And the player said, yeah, coach, I see it. That's really the only shot that I can get in that aspect, you know, unless the defender adjusts this way. I said, keep taking that shot. I said, if he keeps taking you out and you keep scoring, it's going to look worse on him than anybody. People are going to question, why are you taking the kid out? He's made that shot. Why is he being punished? You know, and then the coach has to answer that. Most of them won't. But, you know, if you're looking at film, that's when you question, like, well, what am I doing wrong? And if he says, well, that's not a shot, that's not a shot I want, and then you can kind of be like, well, why is that not a shot? I mean, that's a perfectly executed textbook move to an area, and that's the shot that's available. A jump shot's possibly going to get blocked or contested. That jump stop floater is going to be quick. So I have to really, walk a thin line because coaches are different. Like some coaches at some schools, I can be a little bit, you know, uh, flow with them as far as how aggressive I try to get them. Other schools, I have to be really reserved with how I help them navigate that offense. And and there are some, and it's like, look, I don't care if you make it or miss it. More than likely they're going to take you out because some coaches believe, no, these are my two scorers right here. These are the guys that are going to get points. The rest of you, I once seen a kid in the offense get the ball. He is wide open on the lower block. The defense stopped playing him because he wasn't shooting. He's wide open. The crowd is saying, shoot it. He passed the ball back out. Yeah, no, there were no technical difficulties. I just wanted that to marinate. He passed the ball back out. And it was the weirdest thing ever. Like, now you're playing 5-on-4. You've basically told this kid that he's on the block. He can't turn and go up and shoot. If he is that bad, if he's that poor, if you haven't developed him enough to where he can get that ball, drop step, turn and shoot, that's not on that kid. That's on you as a coaching staff because y'all have done very poor development. Now, if you've worked with him and he just gets nervous as he turns around and he shoots and stuff, then yeah, maybe you need to go with someone else, right? Because that's hurting your offense. But that's just, that's just an example of something that I actually saw. And I kept thinking like, well, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm not seeing it right, and apparently this had been going on the whole season because the crowd was the school that the kid played for, that those people were always telling that kid to shoot. So I'm like, okay, this ain't the first time that this has happened, right? So, when should you deviate? It's really going to be hard. I mean, I've told players you do need to communicate with your coaches. You need to communicate in practice and say, look, coach, when we ran this against this team, when we ran this set, every time this happened, this is what I'm seeing. What are you thinking? And some coaches will be like, yeah, okay, are you seeing it? Okay, if you see that, then yeah, this is what you should be able to do. And if this happens, then you should look for this A, B, and C. But when coaches say, no, I don't want you doing that, that's bad. That's bad. I can't. I'll never understand how a coach would take a player's ball IQ out of a situation and not allow that player to progress ball IQ wise. If you're looking at a situation and it's sound, this is a sound reasoning. And if you say no, then the communication should be, okay, yeah, no, this is why I don't want you to do that, right? This is what you're not seeing. I'm all for that. I love that because it's teaching. It's teaching at its basic points. But that's not what I hear a lot of. So that's always a question. When should you run the offense and when should you deviate? I know I had a player back at Jefferson High School, and she was their best player. She was averaging 20-something points. The other girls on the team could barely dribble and shoot. I don't know how they're playing varsity, but I think they were juniors and seniors, so they had to, right? But to me, it was more on the system of development in that organization. And I hate to say it, but that is true. That's a fault of them because the players that were excelling were the players that were developing elsewhere. players that were not being successful or the players that were only developing there. But this coach didn't want, players developing outside. But the player would say, I'm having trouble because I see the play, I pass it, they're not, they lose the ball, they get scared, they pass it back, and then I have to go ahead and try to score. So I said, okay. He gets mad at me because he wants me to run the offense. I said, okay, so run the offense. And she gave me a look. I said, no, I want you to cycle the offense 2 times. Run the play twice. Let it go all the way from start to beginning. Oh, Lord. I said, start to beginning. Let it go all the way from start to end. Okay? Once you get the ball again, run it again. Use that time to see how the defense is playing. By that 3rd time, attack. She did it. Afterwards, the coach was really cool and elated. I think they won that game. They didn't win a lot of games. They don't win a lot of games talent-wise. But that was they ended up she got what she wanted. Coach got what he wanted. They were happy, right? So I think if you sometimes you have to kind of feel it out, but most of the time I think you can have conversations with the coaches about stuff to try to help figure it out. But good luck, because I've been around and heard about some coaches, and I know all across the country it's difficult with some coaches, and I know coaches have a lot to deal with. I know there are parents out there that are really difficult. They want their child to play all the time. And that's why I tell parents, don't you go talk to the coach. Let your son or daughter go talk to him and talk to him about basketball. What is it that I need to do? What is it that you're not seeing from me in practice or in the games that's keeping me out? And you start that dialogue, most of the time it's going to be successful. All right, so this last thing I'm going to talk about is the last training tool. I've been mentioning the basketball interactive zone that we have, that we've added to our training. And I've spoke on Mastermind, I've spoke on the Noah, I've spoken on Laser, and this week I'm going to be speaking on VREP. Now, what is VREP? VREP is virtual repetitions. So this is how it all started, because I'd say 10 years ago, realistically 10 years ago, I might have it written down somewhere, or, something where I was looking for. I was thinking to myself, I would love to be able to look up something where I could help teach players where they could see what I'm explaining to them, because often in a one-on-one environment it's you and that player, so I can move chairs and stuff to simulate how a defense looks, whether it's a zone or man-to-man, compared to what your offensive set is, and walk you through it and explain it, and move the chairs. So at that point, it looks like the defense is shifted, right? And, hey, I always felt I was pretty cool at doing that. I said, look at them chairs. Look at that defensive stance that chair is in, and I always enjoyed that. But I always wanted something where I could, have the kids to be able to watch it, right? And if you're watching the game footage is excellent in that instant. But you don't always get everything, from that. So I was always looking for something, something in some type of software that I could do it with. Well, lo and behold, I happened to be doing a search again, and I found VREP, and I looked into it, and VREP is a basketball virtual reality software system. It's an immersive experience, and what it is if you have a tablet or a phone, you can, you download the app and you're looking into it, and you can see a play. So let's say you're running a 4-out 1-in play, right? And let's say you're trying to teach your kids what they're supposed to do on the 4-out 1-in. Well, this shows them. This goes through the play in like a 3D version, where you see the player pass, and then the player runs, and then he goes and cuts over here, right? So you're able to look and see, okay, if this is you, this is what you're going to do. If this is you, this is what you're going to do. This is you, this is what you're going to do. So everybody can see their part and just understand what they're supposed to do, right? It helps them learning. Now, The other thing that it does that I wasn't really even like thinking it does is it has a virtual concept where it actually puts you in the game. So it's like a first person, I think. So you're actually on the court and the play's running, and it's like you're playing basketball with in virtual. And I thought it was the coolest thing. So this is what started. All of the other ones I found, afterwards, but this is what started my push to get this type of technology, because now I can teach players at a earlier age about how to run the offense, how to be able to do this and that, and it's in a game sort of way. So it's gamified repetitions in a sense. You get to put yourself in a simulation, and you have to move. You have to answer questions, right? And you have to move the way you're supposed to move. You have to push the button to pass. You have to shoot. You have to make decisions, and it'll ask you, hey, when you catch the ball here, what are your options? And it's basing it on what you just did. So the fact that you're able to do that in a virtual sense allows players to really learn. Now, when you have the virtual headset, it's unreal with how it looks when you're in the game. Guys on you, and you're watching and you're doing all of this stuff, and it's absolutely amazing. So this one, I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but this is the one that started it for me as far as trying to get all of this stuff and realizing that I needed to be able to meet kids on their level with game type simulation stuff. And when you look at it and you find out, you will see NBA players are using VR for training. Jaden Daniels just came out with an article. He uses training for virtual training to get him his reps in and understanding a certain coverages and things that he might not have been watching. And it's better to look these things over because you can do them over and over and over again. So VREP is amazing, and it's the thing I love the most about this is this is something that as we introduce it, you don't have to be there with us. Like, you're gonna be able to get into it. You're gonna be able to utilize it at home. So I call it on the go. Mom's at the grocery store, and you're in the you're walking along with them, and or maybe you're sitting down, or maybe you're there and mom's in the grocery store, you're in the car with dad. Pull out your tablet. You can work on your stuff there. Your sister has a cheerleading practice or gymnastics or soccer or whatever that she's doing, or your brother or whatever. You can pull out your tablet and work on it. So you don't have to be there with us to actually do it. And that's what I love, because you can do it at home on your own. And it has tons of content, and I'm adding to it all the different things that you will be able to start to learn. So I love it. I really love it. I have a good relation. Great. I feel like I have a really good relationship with the software company that started and created it, because I have to talk to them on a regular basis and get ideas. And my ideal, what I'm trying to do with it for now, is to just add content for beginners, because there's so many kids that lack. So if I look at it like this is especially good for kids who are in that 6th and 7th grade who never really played basketball. This is technology that they can utilize, because they can learn quicker, right? So if they're not on a team, they can still learn, right? But it's absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that I found it. I do try to utilize it on a regular basis. I'm still learning how to play VR because I'm not. I haven't been a gamer or somebody who plays it, but plays video games since I always like to sit and watch. Like when I used to buy, I think it was Star Wars. I think we had the was it PS2? Yeah, we had the PS2. And as I'm doing this, I'm looking around. It's like a hall of fame for all of the joysticks and gaming stuff in this room Wii, stuff like that, right? So we used to buy, the kids that because that was stuff that they, love to do. And we wanted them to have things that they love to do because, they had, physical challenges with the condition they have. And that's something that I could always talk about another day because they don't know it, but I've always drawn inspiration from them, for the challenges and things that they go through. But we bought Star Wars. It was a game of Star Wars, Attack of the Clones, I think it was, or something like that. And I would play it sometimes, and I would play it and have fun and try to blast them, even though they were on my team. But I just love sitting there watching them play it, and they do Mario Kart, and they're playing Mario Kart, and I sit up there and watch them play Mario Kart. And I had just as much fun watching them play it as what they had playing it. So that's kind of always been my thing, watching people play it. I tell you what, one time I went over a friend's house and I'm sitting in there, I walk in the living room, and hey, what's up and stuff, and I'm watching and I'm like, oh man, who is this playing? And I'm looking and stuff. And then as I sit down, I'm trying to think, well, who is this playing? Like I didn't know it was a game on. And then all of a sudden I see that the two guys have joysticks, and I had to take a double look, and I said, it's a fucking game. It looked real. It looked real at that point when I looked at it, the announcers and stuff, and I didn't like really hone in and watch to see that the players weren't actually playing, but from that glance and what I was like, oh my God, I thought this was a damn game, an actual real game, and it's that. So this puts me in that realm of that kind of process, and I think this is going to be really good. The greatest thing is that I can this is stuff that I don't have to be here. So I am getting a lot more people who are coming and asking questions on our content, on our YouTube, on our TikTok videos that I'm creating content for, and they're asking questions. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm creating it. So I'm able to reach people outside of where I am, which is what the purpose was. And this will allow me to say, hey, you know what? If you really want more, this is what you need to look into getting. And, I can send them a link, let them see it and stuff. So I can have somebody from Brazil, Canada, Wisconsin, Washington, New York, wherever, and reach them with this and let them use this software. So I'm so excited. We're starting to, people are starting to see it. We got banners and stuff coming. We're going to have like interactive little days and times where people can come and try all the different stuff. And I've been utilizing it with, the kids here and there to see what they think. So I am so excited about it. Maybe at some point I'll try to get the guys who actually did it on the show, who created it, just to kind of tell us, what was going on. I'm sure they would love to talk to everybody about it. So that might be something that I might look at doing. See if I can get a Zoom on them and tell them, look, I'm riding with y'all. Why don't you tell the public about it? So we'll see. I'm gonna see if I can make a note and try to get that going. Cause I've developed pretty cool relationship with them, and I want them to be successful with it, and hopefully it in turn adds different stuff to what we're doing there. So I'm gonna end it there. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I know I kind of rambled a little bit about the coach. I was trying to look up to make sure, because I was going to try to read what I remember hearing, but obviously that language isn't on the article I had, wasn't on there. So I have to get back. So I apologize if I sounded like I was like, man, what's wrong with Kay? He's just kind of rambling. He's talking about butterflies and pancakes. What is that? Right? But this ear thing kind of got me a little off, because I said from the start to the beginning. Oh my God. Hey, but I did catch it though, right? I didn't say it and then later on, like, what you talking about? I didn't say that. I'm like, no, I caught it. I was like, wait a minute, did I just say that? So look, if you're not following us, follow us on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our TikTok, on our YouTube. If you know somebody that's starting to be a beginner, have them to go to our YouTube channel. I got a free basketball course on there. It's absolutely free, and it covers everything, and I'm adding content. There's all kinds of stuff that I'm doing. I'm doing my part. I got asked, and I'm doing my part, to try to help as much as I can, because I can't be everywhere, right? I can't be everywhere. So I'm trying to do as much as I can to where kids will have an opportunity to work and get better. So, hey, yeah, like, subscribe, follow us, comment on all of this stuff, all right? So I'm going to end it right there, and I'm going to end it with the way I always do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'm out.
Street cred sports, say it with your chest. Yeah. Go get it from the net. Street cred sports, okay, that's a bet.